I wonder if you could quickly address the 69 kV project that's in the local area, and I think you brought some maps that people haven't received those.
Yes, absolutely. One of the nice things about Carefree and Cave Creek is the rural environment that you all enjoy. And way back when the power network, if you will, was the grid was designed, you have a substation close to the museum, and that's connected into our grid to provide service. Most of our communities around the state have two different routes to be able to get into those substations. So if something does fail on one route, we can flip some switches and provide power coming in from the other direction. In the Cave Creek Carefree marketplace, it's sort of like a cul-de-sac, if you will. There really is no alternative route for us to connect to. There's another substation called Gavilan Peak. It's way over to the west, basically directly west of Carefree Cave Creek across the recreation area. And there's been one public meeting where we've already talked about, tried to solicit public input. The next meeting we have is the 15th of this month. I think it's next Wednesday night. And I've got a couple of, you all should have been mailed a flyer if you're in the area that's affected. It's got the location where that public meeting is. We have, I think, 5 different proposed routes on how to connect the Cave Creek substation to that other substation to the west. When you go through this process, none of them are really pretty options given the countryside and everything here, scenic roads and so forth. But we really do value your public input and your perspectives on what's the best way to connect those 2 points, so that from a reliability standpoint, that's the whole reason we're doing this. If anything ever happens, we want you to be able to still get power through alternative routes and sources. So that's what that's about.
If I could just clarify for the people who are here, the study area is fundamentally on the west side of Black Mountain, fundamentally from about 1 mile east of the intersection of Carefree Highway and Cave Creek Road. The rest of Carefree is not involved in this study, so if you did not receive a map, it's because you're probably not in this study area. So it's basically the subdivisions of Entrada, Carefree Foothills, Sentinel Rock, Lost Acres, etc. So it's really the people on the west side of Black Mountain who would have received this mailing. There are copies of the mailing if you're interested.
Was consideration given to this being a, I don't know, buried line as opposed to an overhead line?
Absolutely.
I think I'm going to...
We're always willing to consider burying facilities. APS, our funding mechanism assumes aerial because that's typically what we're funded to build. We bury power lines in many cases. Generally, that obligates either the group of residents, city, town, LID, some kind of funding mechanism from either cities or communities or residents or something to make it the difference.
I guess what I was wondering is, sometimes there's conduit or route already in the ground that other utilities might be using. Is there such a thing that could piggyback off of that, even if it would be a longer route that might already be in the ground?
Well, you'll see in the information that was mailed to your homes in the maps, there's 5 different proposed routes, and some of them are definitely shorter than others. Our goal is to try to get over to that big interstate transmission facility over there on the west side. So finding the best way to get over there, because then once we get to that big transmission line, we can hang more cables on existing infrastructure. Nobody will even notice another cable on those great big, sometimes people call them kachina kind of power structures. So, and again, if there's sections along the way that it works out we should bury this 3-mile stretch or something, we're happy to work with the community and people on that. The only catch is we'll contribute what it would take to put in the aerial piece, and then if we can come up with a funding mechanism for the difference, then we're good to go. Again, thanks for the opportunity to be here. My job at APS is the area manager for this kind of northeast area of the market, which is Carefree, Cave Creek, and down into Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. So we want to make sure that business owners, residents, anybody who uses our services are well served. So thank you so much for the opportunity.